Push it. Push it real good. Push it. Look, my ode to salt and pepper. Plus, I was watching The Bold Type. And if you watch that show, you know Jacqueline Carlisle is like the best boss ever. She is boss goals for me. I love that show. That is today's chitter chat and probably other things. But let me put today's title in the gram before I forget. But I do have my notes here. I'm on it. Okay, so today's title, Take Care of the Talent. And I credit the biz gal pal Margaret for this title. Ugh, I love it. She always gives me so many ideas leading into Day to Day with Dorothy, and I be set up for success. Okay, let's see. I want to let me pin that so that folks know what we talk about today. I am Antonisha. Did I say that right? Antonisha? Or am I making that up? I feel like I said that right in my spirit. So, welcome to the show. Show to roll. Welcome to today's episode of Day to Day with Dorothy. This screen's looking a little dark over here. So, look, today's chitter chat, I wanted to talk about the show that I love, that I'm hoping it gets renewed for another season. It's called The Bold Type. It's on Freeform. Love that show. I love that show because of all the shows that I watch, especially like when I think about feel good shows, shows that don't like totally like stress you out and have you on the edge of your seat just with anxiety because you don't know what's going to happen, or have you crying your eyes out, or things that elicit like really, really strong emotions. It's not a show like that. It's like feel good show, right? So, of all the types of feel good shows, and then just all the shows that I watch in general over the years that I've had a chance to watch. So I will say I don't watch as much TV as I would like. Post baby, pre baby, I was a total TV bug. I love me some television. I just don't feel like I get the TV experience that I'd really like. I feel like I get like a good strong, on some days, a good strong uninterrupted 20 minutes. And that's just not enough for me. But the show that I love is The Bold Type. And I feel like this show, of the shows that I watch, does such a phenomenal job of addressing the things that we encounter, especially when I say we, women, encounter at work. The things that occur, the things that happen. And I think that a lot of times the show will focus on, they have jobs, but the show focuses on your personal life. Or they have jobs and they kind of focus on how you're killing it at work. It doesn't necessarily paint this like holistic view of what's happening on the work front and what happens when it gets hairy at work. Like when you find yourself in a bit of a pickle, a sticky wicket, whatever. I think that this show offers so much content to discuss from a learning and leadership development standpoint. Oh my God. Every episode is so good. And Jacqueline Carlisle, the editor in chief of the magazine, is phenomenal. And here's what I'll say, and then we'll go ahead and jump into Take Care of the Talent. Jacqueline just didn't get like that. She's not a phenomenal boss because she's been leading for a long time. I don't believe that at all. I believe that she became a phenomenal boss because she was very intentional about her journey as a manager and as a leader. And she got the coaching she needed, the mentorship that she needed. She built allyships at work. She cultivated relationships at work. She had, she was willing to invest in herself and not DIY her entire life. There's no way that you get to be a manager like that, that is that skillful, and that intelligent and that aware, just because, right? When I think about some of the traits of great leaders, when I think about, accountability, being courageous, being able to communicate effectively, being able to demonstrate passion and demonstrate some level of emotional awareness and intelligence and capacity, being able to say, I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, let's try this again, being able to develop people and grow people strategically, all of that. You don't just wake up with those skills, even when you've been managing for a long time. Because there's lots of managers who've been managing for a long time who still don't have that capacity or that muscle yet. And sometimes it's because there's a lack of intentional motivation or intentional cultivation in that skill. So that's my 2 cents. You cannot DIY your entire life. At some point, as a professional, we have to pay and we have to get that help that we need, and we have to cultivate those 3 critical relationships at work. And if you're like, what 3 critical relationships? Go ahead and sign up to be a corporate hustler, and you'll get the answers for free when you sign up. So you can just click the link in the About section or the bio on Instagram, and I lay out how you work on these 3 important relationships and how you brand yourself personally at work. Because if you don't do it, other people will happily do it for you, and they won't do it the way you want them to. They rarely do. So I think it's that whole taking matters into your own hands. Listen, we're getting ready to close this year out and pop into a new year. Now's the perfect time to start being really intentional and getting into alignment about what you want your 2021 to look like. I think so. I absolutely think so. So here's today's topic: take care of the talent. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Dorothy Enriquez, the host of Day to Day with Dorothy, which is our weekly afternoon show around all things leadership. So, I'm the principal and founder of The Communication Strategist, a boutique learning and leadership development firm where I help you lead from every seat you sit in. I'm here for this magic. So, take care of the talent. It's something that the gal pal Margaret said to me shortly before I was getting ready to prep for today's Day to Day with Dorothy. And I was like, this resonates with me so much. But let me tell you what it means to me to take care of the talent, because I need to follow these 4 thoughts in a more intentional way in 2021 so that I can bring about the shift and transformation and momentum that I want to see as I get ready to, blow this year up, right? Like 2021 is about to be magical because that's what we want it to be, right? We want it to be amazing, and we're already putting those good vibes out into the universe saying, all right, God, I want this year to blow my mind. And what do I need to do to get in alignment and be in position to ensure that this happens? Okay, so number 1 that I have for take care of the talent is affirmations. So I started reading this book about affirmations because I've done affirmations for a few years now. And I was like, you know what? My affirmations are really good. I love them. Like, they're so good. Y'all, this book talks about, how successful people like around the world have leveraged affirmations in a way that is so incredibly powerful that it's like, we got to start looking at this differently. We got to start thinking about this differently. And I was like, I need to rewrite several of these affirmations. Like, one of my affirmations would be like, oh, I am no longer in debt, or like, I am debt free, right? That would be an affirmation. But in the book, it talks about how you create this affirmation that is so specific that you could taste it. Like, I have just paid off all of my student loans. So I think for me, I owe like 20,000 or 18 or something around there, maybe in the high teens, like 17, 18,000 maybe. I need to check. I just was like, I've always said, oh, I'll pay them off by the time I'm 80, right? But then I stopped saying that. So if I was going to rewrite the affirmation like I'm debt free, I have paid off $18,000 in student loan debt in full by, I don't know, by the summer of 2021. And I'm so excited to be able to not have that automatic payment deducted out of my bank account every single month. It's such a refreshing feeling. But the way that that is written is so different than I am debt free, right? Because now what we're doing with our affirmations is we're essentially creating this alternate universe in our minds, and we're telling our brain and our subconscious, yo, catch up. You got to catch up because this is what we need to do, right? I have an award winning podcast that has over 3,000 downloads a week by people who resonate with the leadership content that I deliver on a consistent basis. That's better than I have a podcast that's doing really well, or I have an amazing podcast that I love to record. I have an award winning podcast, but like, what does that actually look like? What does it taste like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And so, as we rewrite our affirmations, it's all in the spirit of taking care of the talent, and that's you. You are the talent, right? And if you are the vessel from which all the magic comes from, you've got to be in tip top shape, right? I've got to be in tip top shape. And I can't do that if I'm not taking care of myself. Hi, Opulent Mind Shift. Welcome to the show. We're just talking about taking care of the talent, and I've got 4 big rocks or big ideas that I'm sharing. And the first one is about affirmations. Look, if you need help with affirmations, Opulent Mind Shift on Instagram is your girl. So, as we think about creating these living, breathing affirmations that we can feel, smell, touch, hear, it just changes the game. I'm like, ooh, there are a bunch of affirmations that I've already started rewriting. And then what I'm trying to be more diligent about is, this year I feel like I wasn't as on top of it as I have been in past years, where like I'd be looking at my affirmations every day. And what I usually do is I record them, and I record them to a track that just like gets me so hyped up, like music that gets me in alignment, whatever that song might be. Hi, Kermaya. Shoulder roll. Thanks for tuning in. So that's what I do, and then I would listen to that every day. I don't know what happened. Listen, you know what I think happened? Rona. Because after Rona, I feel like I just kind of got off track a little bit. But typically I record my affirmations and then I listen to them every day. So now, I probably will still record these new ones that I'm working on and rewriting. But now what I've been doing is I look at them before I go to bed so that my subconscious knows what her homework is. And then I look at them in the morning, either before or after I do like my devotional and time with God and all of that, which I do before I open email, because only Jesus knows what be in that email sometimes. Doesn't matter where the email is. It could be email on social media, email on LinkedIn, my personal email, or my business email. I'm not opening no email nowhere until I've spent some time with Jesus, so that I'm in the right frame of mind for whatever might be in that inbox. Just in case, because you never know. So I think the affirmations piece, I'm going to be really intentional in 2021 with these affirmations as I literally take care of the talent, right? The talent is you. As you literally take care of the talent and speak life into yourself, I think affirmations are an absolutely great way to begin getting yourself literally into alignment as you strategically and without over striving begin to build this life that you want. Because I don't know if any one of us is about this struggle life. Like, I don't want to be struggling to death. I want to be like in alignment, and I want to flow. And I don't want to be striving and going against the grain. I want to like go with the flow of the river as I continue to build out and blow out these dreams that I have, to not just make them like small and controllable, but like for them to have magnitude. And I think that it's hard to do that when you're like just in strive mode and constantly going against the grain and not tapping into you in order to get the results that you're looking for. So affirmations have always been big for me, but I will admit I definitely got off track this year. she's not doing that in 2021. No, she's not. She's going to get back on the wagon. And because I want to be on the wagon in 2021, I've started getting on the wagon right now. Right? So I started working on my affirmations over the weekend as I continue to make it a best practice going forward. Hey, email marketing John. Ew, shoulder roll. Welcome to the show. Hey, Facebook. I see y'all. I just don't know, you know, you got to leave me a comment so I can shout you out. So, the second thing that I think we should definitely add into taking care of the talent, if we haven't implemented it already, the infamous win board. So I've got this win board. I implemented this maybe 8 years ago. Because here's the thing I notice about goal getters and really ambitious women like yourself. Y'all be pushing yourselves to the max. And then because we push ourselves to the max and then we out in these streets like winning and killing it, it's like I got this award, I accomplished this, I accomplished that. And then maybe you hit a bump in the road and it's just kind of like, dang, I'm not really like, I'm trying to be out here killing it and I'm not really killing it. I think it's really easy when you're very ambitious and very much goal oriented and achievement oriented to lose sight of how much you're killing it, right? And so with the win board, every time I win, big or small, I put it on the win board, right? Like if a client pays on time, that's a win, right? Especially if it's a good size, like if it's a nice size deal, that's a huge win. Because let me tell y'all something. There have been times in 2019 and 2020 where I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to get paid. I do not like that. When a client pays and pays on time, super win. That's going on the win board. And now that I've implemented parts of like profit first, payday is always a celebration for me because I'm a business owner. Like when I worked, I didn't really celebrate payday per se because I knew I was going to get a check. Like if I had a good week, if I had a bad week, I knew I was going to get paid. But as a business owner, there have been times where like I wasn't getting a regular paycheck. So when sis gets paid, that goes on the win board. Or like, I don't know, if my daughter sleeps through the night, that's a win. That goes on the win board. If I book a huge client, like when I booked Citizens Bank, oh, best believe that went on the win board. That was huge for me. I was like, when I booked Kohl's, that went on the win board, right? That was huge for me. Like um when I finally found like a photographer that I could shoot with, on a more consistent basis, that went on the win board. Like I was just like, man, I've been wanting this for however winning. So having that win board and laying it out month by month, it really allows you a visual to be like, okay, I thought I had a really crappy March. March looks good. There was so many amazing things that happened to me in March. And there was one thing that happened that was really like, ugh. But when you have the chance to look at your win board, you're like, I'm killing it. Like, okay, it's fine. Right? I can absolutely bounce back from this. I have the fortitude and the constitution to like get my poop in a group, basically. Hi, Meek Raculous. Ew, shoulder roll. Welcome to the show. So we talked about our first two. So we've got four. Affirmations, win board. So for my win board, it's a big old whiteboard. It's huge. And I track my entire year on it. Now there were a couple months where it was touch and go, y'all, where I was like, she's not winning as much as she could. But the fact still remained, I was winning. And yes, I could win even more, but then that's when you can like visually see like, okay, I can continue to push myself. I can continue to plug in the holes and I can see where the gaps are, but you also acknowledge that you're already winning, right? It's already coming together and there are a lot of amazing things that are happening to you even though there might be some rough patches along the way. It's like everything is a season, right? Like nothing lasts forever. And so to be able to have this tangible thing that you could pick up and look at to say, you know what? it's been a really, really, really rough year. But when I look at this gigantic poster, it's not a poster, this gigantic whiteboard that is filled with wins, while 2020 for me felt like just one of the crappiest years on the planet for me. Like, this will go down as like the most poo poo year in the book, right? But when I look at my win board, y'all, I've been winning all year. All year I've been winning. So I don't get to just throw the year into the poo poo bag like what I do with my daughter's poo diapers. Like, I don't just get to put it in the bag and put it in the trash. No, because there were a lot of times in every single month, even my roughest months where I was winning. Listen, it was a poo poo year. It really was. But I don't get to put the poo poo year in the poo poo bag. I still got to like leave it out and just let it be out because there was winning taking place. Yes, win, win, win no matter what. Even in the midst of the poo poo, you still winning. And if y'all have ever changed a toddler's diaper, that's adult poo, right? That's what the year has been a lot of the time. But then all the rest of the time, it wasn't that. And the reason why I know that and have that perspective is because I was keeping track of the wins. And I was already I went into the year winning. Even though I did not know what this year had for me, I went into the year winning. And that's what I want you to do for 2021 if you're not already doing it. Get your win board. If you're like, I'm not buying no big old whiteboard, okay, fine. Get a poster board, right? The poster board, my whiteboard is just a little bit bigger, I think. Probably a little bit longer than a poster board. A poster board will do fine if you don't want to commit to the whiteboard, right? And then just track your wins for 2021 on this poster board. Hang it up in your room or in your closet. If your closet, like my closet's not big enough for something like that. But if your closet's big enough, you can meditate in that closet. Put that poster board in there where you just be looking your flyest and you got a chandelier in there and whatever. Do that, right? And keep track of your wins because I promise you, you are winning way more than you're losing. Even when it feels like you take 2 steps forward and 40 steps back, you're winning more than you're losing. But the only way that you'll see that is with your win board. Then number 3. Oh, I fell off the wagon on this one this year, which is why, look, this is me talking to myself. Journaling. I used to be so diligent about the journaling. She said, be a great leader. You rock. Yes. Hey, Shine TT. Yes, for hitting the target. Journaling, while I think, especially as women, it allows us to like express ourselves, right? And get some stuff out of our system for sure. What I think it does is it serves almost as a tracker. And so here's what I do. So I've been like journaling and having diaries since I was like 10. So this has just been a part of my world scope this entire time. But here's what I do. I will every 6 months. So when I was on it, I don't know what happened, y'all. 2021 will be better. But every 6 months, I would literally read the last 6 months of my journal, every single page, right? If I wrote in it every day, 3 times a week, once a week, every 2 weeks, whatever it was, I read all the entries and I would look for trends. I noticed I was dating that guy and it just seemed like every time, we would go on the date, I would have a good time, but I would just never know how I felt about him. And I knew something was off, but now that I'm looking at the data, I can see that something's off because we would go on these most spectacular dates. He would part with his coins and it was amazing and woo woo woo. And then I'm just like, but I just don't really like him. And so it was through doing that data analysis that I broke up with a guy one time because I literally looked at what had been going on and I was like, we just have a great time, but this isn't really like a great relationship. We're just going out and spending a lot of money. But without that insight, I think I would have still continued to like fumble and feel my way through it, right? And just not know what was going on. Journaling has set me free on so many occasions because yes, it's an opportunity for me to like write, which I love to do, and express myself, which I also like to do. But it's an opportunity for me to review. And sometimes we don't remember what the hell was going on in general. Like we just don't know. Yes, shoulder roll. I love journaling. But if you struggle, write key things on your calendar, physical or phone. Journaling helps with accountability. Oh my God, yes, it does. So, what I have done this year is I write highlights on my productivity sheets because I fill out my productivity sheet every day. And what I do is I review that every 90 days. And then I create a go forward plan to help me work on the areas where I didn't do the most, where I wasn't like doing my best. Like if I noticed I was low in energy, which is what happened over the last 90-day period, I was low on energy levels on many days. And so my solve for that was when I looked at the days where my energy level was like a 9 or a 10, I looked at what happened that day. And most of those days, I had gone out on a date with my boyfriend, or we had had like just us time, or I had a tea party with my daughter, or I worked out that day, or I went to bed on time. And so when I made my go forward plan for the next 90 days, I had four things that I wanted to try to keep in mind on a weekly basis in order to keep up energy. So I love that, Shine TT. That's legit. But yeah, journaling I think is an absolute game changer. And if we can really infuse that as a best practice, even if we can't do it every day, if we can do it once a week, just to kind of get our thoughts and reflections out and review that every 6 months or every 2 weeks, twice a month, right? And then you have something to reflect back on multiple aspects of your life to see if there are any trends, any red flags, any yellow lights that you want to be aware of. Because a good friend of mine, when my life fell apart when I was 30, look, she was like, you can't tell me that you didn't see that light turning yellow before it turned red. And I was like, I didn't. But I think the more, I guess, stopgaps that we have as we take care of the talent is you, low key, I think the better off we'll be, right? Especially for really ambitious, goal getter type of women, we've got to have things to set us up for success. Hello, Miss Dorothy, checking into the training class. Just a note from TCS Mommy and Daddy. Ooh, hi, mothering on the margins. Yes, I love your handle. That's everything. Ooh, hey, Mallory, your consultant. We're just talking about taking care of the talent, y'all, as we get ready to close out. The talent is you. So, the last thing, and I feel like I saved the best for last, talk it out. Y'all, this is something that I've always been guilty of, but my dad has always told me talk, Dorothy, and keep talking. So often we feel like we gotta keep it all so buttoned up, so pinned up, so tightened up, and we can't talk about the things that are like eating away at us or killing us, or like I can't feel that way, or I can't say that, or I can't think that. I feel like that gives us ulcer and heartburn. Like, who? No, we are humans being, and we're having a very human being experience. And so if there are things that we're just bottling up because we just refuse to talk and we just want to manage all things right here and not do a little bit of this mixed with a little bit of this, honestly, I think that we're not setting ourselves up to be able to take care of the talent. Yes, I think sometimes that we might have like crazy thoughts, or we might not have like the best, most buttoned up, most pinned up thoughts. But so what? That's why we can get a counselor or a therapist or a support group or whatever it is that we need to take care of the talent so that we can talk it out and like literally discharge. Imagine if I've got all of these wild thoughts and I can't sort through them and I refuse to talk. I refuse to get the support that I need. I refuse to acknowledge that it's not going well, right? But then I swear up and down that what's happening all up in here and all up in here is not going to come out in some other way. Even if I'm not saying anything, it's going to come out in like my behavior. It's going to come out in my health or lack thereof, right? And Marshawn Evans said something the other day that I was like, I think her new last name is Daniels. Is it Marshawn Evans Daniels or Marshawn Daniels Evans? Whatever. I think y'all know who I'm talking about. She was like, is your body ready to do the work that you have set out to do over the next 10 years? Is your body ready? And I was like, no, no, it's not. It's not ready, right? Like, I have got to take care of the talent. When I think about the dreams that you have, the goals and aspirations that you have, the dreams and goals and aspirations that I want to turn into our reality, my body's not ready. I need to make sure that I'm ready, and I need to make sure that my body, the talent, Dorothy, is ready to take on what's going to be the next level. I have to, right? I think that we all have to. We got to get ready. Right. There's a reason that therapy includes talking. Everyone needs their voice heard. That, that, right? And so that's like the last little bit of what I think is required to truly take care of the talent, right? We got to get those affirmations feeling like they are living and breathing, and that like the world just has to catch up to what we said, right? And that gets us talking. And we got to put that win board together so that we don't lose perspective when we feel like it's turning into poo and it's starting to smell a little like poo poo, right? How do we bring ourselves back to ourselves, right? How do we not distract ourselves and pull ourselves apart, but how do we stay together? And then we got to journal, even if it's not every day or every week, so that we have some context when we're feeling a little lost, so that we can anchor ourselves back to the bigger picture. And then we need to talk it out, right? In whatever venue or platform makes the most sense. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, as we get ready to wrap up 2020, y'all, you're the talent. And you have to take care of the talent, because without you, the ship won't move. Whatever is supposed to be coming out of you, through you, from you, it cannot happen if you don't take care of you. So that's just my 2 cents, y'all. We are the talent. So we got to take care of the talent. If this was helpful, if there were some nuggets in here, click that little paper plane in Instagram, the share button on Facebook, share with another lady leader, another fellow gal pal, so that we can get ourselves together and close this year out strong. It's been a rough year, I know. It's been wild. But the thing that we did do, we survived it. And for some of us, we thrived. We figured out how to make lemonade when we were handed lemons in 2020. So, at the very least, that deserves a big old pat on the back. I will see y'all here next week on the 23rd ish, somewhere around there. We'll either have biz chitter chats or day to day with Dorothy or both. But we going to be back here around this time, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's hang out. Let's talk it out. Let's end the year strong. Smooches, thanks y'all for hanging out with me all of 2020. And if you haven't gotten your lead from every seat, lead from every seat you sit in notebook, you need to. These notebooks are going all over the United States, y'all. All over. I think I just sent out like 7 or 8 yesterday. 7 or 8 yesterday. Like, if you haven't gotten your notebook, sis, what are you waiting for? It makes for a great Christmas gift. Let's go. So I'll see you all soon. I got to go to my business accelerator graduation. And I'm late because I was kicking it with y'all. Because it's my fave. Bye, y'all. I'll see you soon. All right, Facebook. You know you always get the last shoulder roll. Ew, yeah.